watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Susan Tran. We have a lot to talk about in the weather department. Let's head over to Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb, and we are getting a storm from the north, a storm from the south. It's busy.
Yeah, it's kind of like a sandwich, right, Janessa?
Yeah, we are kind of wedged between what I like to call this Oreo cookie. We're the center part right now, and so at this time, DC metro area not seeing stormy activity, but look to our north. Our friends out towards Western Maryland just dealing with some severe weather about 15 to 20 minutes ago. That has expired, but you still have a good pocket of torrential rain west of I-81 into the Papa area, Brunswick as well, Hancock. You are dealing with some torrential rain and some lightning. That's all we're seeing with these storms. There's no straight line wind situation, but it's heavy downpours that are extremely beneficial to this area. Some pockets are producing at least 1/4 of an inch of rain, and here's where the flash flood watch is out towards Baltimore County, the metro area, with this big line of storms about to enter that region. And so these are areas that are in that extreme drought situation, and so it's going to be super helpful. This is storm system number 1. It does linger into tomorrow afternoon. We'll watch the pockets, and then here's the secondary cyclone from Tropical Storm Debbie that will make its way up towards the coastline of Wilmington, North Carolina, and parts of South Carolina already. Here's the current situation for tonight with that excessive rainfall outlook out towards Philly and New York City. Here in the metro area, we remain in that slight risk. We have lots going on with 2 complex storm systems impacting our region. I have more on your extended forecast coming up.
All right, Janessa, we'll see you then. Well, Debbie has certainly drenched coastal cities in Georgia and South Carolina, and impacts are expected here in the DMV later this week. Governors from Virginia and Maryland each declaring a state of emergency due to the rain we're expecting. And in areas like Old Town Alexandria, which is prone to flooding, of course, families and businesses, they are keyed in on the forecast. Dominion Energy has linemen loading up trucks ready to roll.
The biggest question we get is normally, when the power's come back on, and most of the time when we get those questions, we're in the middle of a critical task.
Some of the jobs, it varies. It could be a 5-minute fix. It could be an 8-hour fix.
Well, even if Debbie does miss the DMV, Dominion Energy saying put crews on notice to head wherever they're needed, locally or not. Well, right now in D.C. police need your help identifying 3 people they say are involved in a shooting in Columbia Heights. So take a look here at your screen. These men, they're accused of being part of a shooting on Friday that sent 1 man to the hospital. It happened just after 4 in the morning on Euclid Street. Anyone with information should call D.C. police.
And we head over to Virginia, where some neighbors in Prince William County are really fed up with reckless driving. They say it's not only loud, but it's dangerous. That's
right. DC News Now's Max Marcilla takes us to a Woodbridge waterfront neighborhood to show us the challenges these families say they're really struggling with.
In what can be a quiet Woodbridge neighborhood, the regular sounds of daytime traffic by the waterfront, quite different from what neighbors say this street sounds like at night.
It wakes people up, especially the burnouts and the donuts and just basic loud mufflers, loud cars.
In the daylight, they see the evidence, these tire marks, signs of what KP Lau says is drag racing cars going dangerously fast in the neighborhood with businesses, homes, and tons of people and dogs walking around.
Recently, it's getting out of the hand.
Lau says he really wanted to bring attention to this problem when he saw a picture a couple of weekends ago that was circulating around this neighborhood. It was a picture taken in this street of 2 dead foxes on the roadway. Now, it is unclear if the foxes were hit by a car. Lau thinks they were. Police say they're not so sure, judging by the picture. We spoke with the man who picked up and disposed of those foxes. Even he says he's unsure. But everyone we spoke with says they want to make sure that nothing worse happens in this roadway.
I said a small prayer for them and kind of, walked away. One of the saddest things, though, and that's scary. Scary for the kids. It's scary for the adults. It's scary for everybody.
Prince William County Police tell us they've received a handful of complaints for reckless vehicles, and they've been physically in the area a handful of times running radar and conducting other traffic and parking enforcement.
And the police department has been very cooperative and very helpful. But it's a catch and miss situation.
Lau wants the county and VDOT to work on physical measures.
Speed bumps or speed tables, so that will break up this is a racetrack.
with the hope that calls from the people who live here could help push forward a solution to keep this neighborhood calm and safe. Reporting in Woodbridge, Max Marcella, DC News Now.
DC News Now is your local election headquarters, and the polls in Prince George's County, Maryland, they have closed. There was, of course, that special primary election to replace ex-council member Mel Franklin. Today's election will whittle down the 9 Democrats and 4 Republicans to just 1 in each party to face off in the special general election on November 5th. Franklin, of course, served for 14 years, but resigned when he was charged with embezzling campaign funds.
Well, staying in Prince George's County, police are investigating a crash. This car here, you can see it crashed into a home in Glen Arden. When crews arrived on Church Street around 4 this afternoon, they say one person was trapped in the car. The person was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. We'll keep you updated on the story and bring you any information as we get it.
A big night across the country focused on bringing families and police together. And local law enforcement are also celebrating National Night Out. DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg is live there in the 7th District Station in Southeast. And Daniel, what had the atmosphere been like out there?
Well, Susan, it was an electric atmosphere over at the National Night Out celebration here in Southeast. There was food, there were games, and there was, of course, live music, all about meeting with law enforcement on the federal and local level. An electric atmosphere in Southeast D.C. has D.C. police dancing. Even 6-year-olds not technically on the payroll.
This business card here says Chief of Police. How does the actual Chief of Police feel about this?
Oh, she loves it. She embraces it. So you'll see his pictures of her on Instagram. She gave him a little tour and let him be the chief.
Zaire Simmons has spent the last 3 years with one goal in mind.
I want to be in the police. I've seen it. I love it. I want to be one.
It's one of the reasons National Night Out is so popular.
I wanted to try on the vest because it looked fun. And my dad's a police, and I always see him putting it on in the morning. So I wanted to try it.
Bringing together law enforcement and the community.
Having young people in the presence of not just law enforcement officers, but for community members, for community leaders is so very important.
DC Police Chief Pamela Smith says building relationships is what it's all about, from kids to adults.
We've got to have our community really reach out to us and let us know what's happening in their communities so that we can help get some of these guns off our streets.
From local police to the U.S. Marshals and FBI, a small connection can go a long way.
They're people. You know, they're not just out here. They have a job. They're human beings. So it shows them the warm side of them and the fun side of them.
All right, there's our Daniel Hamburg reporting tonight in D.C. Meanwhile, in Montgomery County, police also out tonight getting to know their community. This is in Cider Mill. You can tell here it looks like a whole lot of fun for everybody, including the kiddos out there. There are popsicles, moon bounces, face painting, it's about everything. Just enjoying their night out there. And in Olney, organizers of tonight's event say they were excited to see what the turnout would be like.
We've had up to 5,000 visitors here. We have nearly 100 exhibitors, local businesses, health organizations, nonprofits. It's something the community looks forward to every year, again, because it's something for everyone.
Yeah, and over in Arlington, Virginia, people spend the evening outside with neighbors, police officers, and firefighters. You saw there, some kids even got a chance to sit on a police motorcycle.
New in the district tonight, the Attorney General, Brian Schwab, announcing a Maryland-based pest control company will have to pay $137,000 in a fine. The AG says that Kenmore Pest Control and Termite Services was illegally using pesticides near 2 apartment buildings in D.C. The company is now on a 3-year probation period and will also be barred from using any pest control chemicals in the district until employees are properly trained.
Well, topping national headlines tonight, Vice President Kamala Harris has chosen Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. The newly announced ticket made their first appearance together just a little while ago at a campaign event in Philadelphia. Now, Harris made that announcement on social media this morning, writing that Walz's work for the middle class impressed her, and so did his support for paid family leave and abortion protections.
The kind of person who makes people feel like they belong and then inspires them to dream big. And that's the kind of vice president he will be.
Well, tonight's rally kicks off their week-long tour of battleground states. So